Thank you. I now request Revati S. Raghunathan, Chairperson of SAIC, to welcome and address the audience. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vishnu. Good evening, everyone. I know that, we have 45 registrations, but people will keep dropping in a little slowly. And sorry, we started a little late. We were just waiting for people to join us. Code of ethics is a very important topic for all of us. Do I need the mic? I think I can talk up there. Okay, for recording. So code of ethics, as we all know, is extremely important for us as chartered accountants, for any professional. We all have our own personal code of ethics first. And next, whatever is the professional body with whom we are associated, they have a separate code of ethics. And then we are governed by so many other ancillary laws and regulations. And sometimes it becomes a little cumbersome for us to actually, keep thinking of as to whether we are infringing on some regulation which has been given by some regulator, our own mother body. But what we should understand is that, as long as we have regulators looking at our work over our shoulders, we can ensure that the quality of our work is not compromised, because finally that is what we are all aiming for. And I think that is one of the reasons why we now have this mandatory requirement for the attendance of CPE programs on code of ethics. And we should not actually say that only if it is mandatory I will attend. It is mandatory for us to actually practice this on a day-to-day basis. And there is nothing wrong in having a refresher, and also getting different perspectives from different people. For example, I have come across a couple of situations where a person has obliged a dear friend. Audit is generally coming to us only from our known circles and references, etc. So a person is actually obliged, a professional has taken up a work, done the work, but the work was not completed, and a draft report was given in which it is said that I have not interviewed the auditee, I have not done this, I have not done that. And subject to that, this is my observation. Isn't that what we all give in an audit report? And so this audit report was given. It was for a very small entity, and what happened was the person who actually introduced this professional said, please remove the word draft, send me a hard copy, I will place it in my MC, and then we'll decide what is to be done. So this person said, no, sorry, I can't give you reports after removing the word draft, because if I remove the word draft, I have to give a UDIN, right? Even though everywhere else it looks like a work in progress, if the word draft is removed and you say report on this, it looks like it's a final report. So this, after a lot of begging and doing everything, so this auditor said, okay, I will take a printout and sign it and give. Send that copy back to me. Don't distribute it anywhere. Do not share it with everyone. Everything, blah, blah. He gave 100 conditions, but for his friend, he sent it. And he did not take a signature or acknowledgement anywhere because they were friends. And the assumption was he's not going to share it. After that, what happens? In the normal course of things, he did not return it back. He shared it. It went, and it was a forensic report, and the person on whom the audit was done got a copy of this report, and he filed a complaint against our chartered accountant, a disciplinary complaint. What was the complaint? You did not give UDIN. Why did I not give UDIN? Because it's not a final report. Only if it's a final report will that auditor actually give the UDIN, right? He didn't give the UDIN. And what happened after that? The disciplinary, once a complaint is made, the disciplinary mechanism has to be gone through. Okay? And this gentleman says, no, the value was very less. The finding was only around 25 lakhs. The fees was negotiated to be 50,000. I did not take the fees. Work is not yet complete. I have emails to prove that the final report is still being worked upon. I have not spoken with the auditee. I have given sufficient disclaimers. Nothing is heard. You gave a report, you didn't give the UDIN. Okay? This person who did it was a senior chartered accountant. The person who appointed this person was a chartered accountant. And there were a number of professionals involved. But finally what has happened, no one was actually able to help this person. Okay, because a mechanism within the institute has to be followed. So that was being followed. So, this taking for granted, which we do, that, okay, I have not done anything wrong. I have given sufficient disclaimers. No one can take action against me. I can, supplement whatever my findings are. Nothing will work. If something is going to happen, it will happen. So it's always better that, we all attend such refresher courses, network among our peers and understand what exactly is happening within the profession as such, because unless and until we network, we will not know what our perspective is and in what way our perspective is different from whatever our professionals are thinking and what our professional body is also expecting us to do. So I want to say thank you very much to JAYAKRITHIKA for accepting our invitation to come here and share her knowledge and experience with us. She's a very, very good friend of mine. She's the past chairman of the Madurai branch. And, sometimes when you're friends with someone, you won't actually know their hidden talents. And somehow I came to know that she's a very, very good faculty and she takes, sessions on a number of topics. This is the first time that she's actually taking a topic in SIRC. And that also in I would say, a topic full of a lot of, I would say it's like opening a can of worms, right? There are so many things, issues which come up. So she's going to help us understand the nitties and the gritties of the Code of Ethics. Thanks a lot, Kritika, for this. Thank you very much to everyone who's come here. I would suggest you actually spread the word among your peers and network also about the programs which are conducted in SIRC. Before I hand it over to JAYAKRITHIKA, I just want to say two things. One is about a regional conference. It's happening on August 22 and 23 at the Nehru Stadium. And most likely the chief guest would be our Honorable Chief Minister. And we'll have our President and Vice President of the Institute also. And along with the conference, we will be having sports events which are being planned across all the 5 states. And we'll have the semi-finals and the finals just before the conference, and we'll be giving the rolling trophy at the valedictory function, for which we may be getting the sports minister of Tamil Nadu and maybe some other celebrities also. So it's going to be a very interesting 2 days with a lot of technical sessions and a lot of cultural activities also. On 27th of June, we are having an MSME conclave. I request everyone to participate in it, and please do ask all your clients to register, because we are having MSME clinics, we are having bankers, we are having a lot of other statutory authorities also attending. It's the International MSME Day. It's being organized in Kalaivanararangam, right? And please do ask all your clients also to come. And for members, we have CPE credits also for that program. And apart from that, we are organizing a lot of interesting programs in SIRC. On July 1st, we are going to celebrate CA Day. And in the evening, we'll have a comedy play similar to one which we had on World Laughter Day, which was a super hit, and I hope that many of you will join us for that. It's going to be a free program in the sense that your family is also invited. It will be followed by dinner. But I don't think we are giving CPE credits for that program. So please do come and enjoy the hospitality of SIRC. Let your family come, and we want to showcase to the family what the members are doing here, right? Family just thinks that you're going somewhere and coming. Let them come and see that chartered accountants also know how to enjoy themselves. So please come for that. There are a lot of other programs on the annual, but I'm eating into JK's time. So she's fondly known as JK to all of us. So I'll hand over the proceedings to JAYAKRITHIKA. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Before we begin, I request C. Revati S. Raghunathan ma'am to hand over the memento to our speaker.
This is also one initiative from SIRC. One is our green initiative. And we are celebrating up to May 31st the plantation drive, where we are giving tree saplings to all the members. You, on your way out, you can collect the tree saplings, plant it, upload it on the SIRC website with your photograph, and the person who plants the maximum number of trees will also be getting a prize. And we are giving a green cap also which says I planted a tree. This is our CSR initiative. So please do collect the trees on your way out.
Thank you, ma'am. So before we begin, I would like to have a short intro about JAYAKRITHIKA ma'am. JAYAKRITHIKA ma'am is a fellow chartered accountant and has over 15 years of experience in finance, audit and internal controls, having worked in various industries like banking, healthcare, IT and insurance. She also held key roles in leading firms and companies, and also served as a past chairperson of Madurai branch of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Internationally, JAYAKRITHIKA ma'am also have significant exposure to global financial practices, bringing invaluable insights into her advisory role. She has been instrumental in delivering high-quality financial services, further solidifying her reputation as trusted advisor and also a leader. Thank you, ma'am, for accepting our invite and being with us today. Yeah, the session is yours.
One more small announcement. We are having a tour to Vietnam in December. We are having the registrations immediately because we are blocking the tickets. It's the peak holiday season. So you can register. You'll have to give an advance amount of 40,000 to the travel agent to block the tickets. Please do come. It's going to be a fun trip for all of us. So any of you want to register, please register. We'll share the Google link also. Okay.
So very good evening, dear members. And at the outset, I should thank ICAI, SIRC and the chairperson, CA Revati Raghunathan ma'am. It's been 15 years post my qualification, Pakka Chennai Punne, did my articles in PKF Sridhar and Santanam, then was into industry. I had worked for HCL, and then due to other set of breaks, I was married and settled there in Madurai, and I worked for a leading hospital there in Madurai as the finance head. It was almost like 12 years, and then I had to take a decision, why don't we jump into practice, because being in industry at one stage, like what next is there in the industry when we think a place like Madurai is not an industrial hub. So that is where I decided, why don't we get into practice, put up my own office in the year 2020, that was March 12th, and in 1 week it went into COVID. And then it took almost like 6 months to build in from zero as a state. Today I have clients who make a turnover up to 200 crores at least, and we are setting up an office in Pondicherry. We recently got a partner who is also my batchmate and who is in Chennai as well. So which means as a CA, when you are professionally having the set of principles and the values, when you carry it with yourself, because for a place like Madurai, you don't have much industries. So it's more of retailing set of clients who will all have auditors as the Kanak Pillais. More of the tax return preparers and the accounting professionals who are called auditors rather than us. So that is the kind of a base wherein we had to start our practice, but still we are there, and we have, my office have put in all efforts to bring in the documentation even for those kind of set of clients, because it demands so. So when it is with ethics, so where does it start from? It starts for me from my home, from my son as such. When you are not ethical enough in handling him, you will not expect what conduct you will have from him. So it starts from us, within us, and as CAs, just like doctors, we are as well 24/7 CA. So what if you drive the car, you hit somebody, okay? So they file an FIR. So do you think it will lead to professional misconduct? It may, because maybe that FIR, maybe in our professional assignments, if there is something which is leading to the misconduct, this will add on value as well. So which means we have to be ethical enough 24/7. That is what demands for us when we call ourselves as a CA, be it in service or in practice as such. Okay. So I think you all would have heard of Ravana, the story of Ramayana, etc. So you know what made Ravana to have him to take the birth as Ravana, and then Rama coming in here and securing things. So any idea behind what would have been the story behind this? It has to be interactive because this topic is not that technical. When it comes to us, we don't mind, but when it comes to the client, we sit late nights, we sacrifice whatever be our other commitments. Okay, this is something which I very recently heard from a person who is like fond of books and basically these kind of books. See, there was Brahma, and there were 3 saints who had visited Brahma, it seems. So Brahma was taking rest, it seems. So when those 3 saints visited, there were 2 security guards who said, sorry, you cannot enter inside because he is resting. So the saints, like, they were like shattered, and they thought like, I have to curse you for this. So that was when the saints were like, they cursed, and those 2 security people, they were cursed for it. And 2 of them, they said, you will take one birth as the wives of Brahma, like Jaya, Vijaya, and then you will take another birth as demon, and your 3rd birth again you will be a demon, but you will have somebody who will take you out of that curse, and that's how you will actually clear off your curses. So, and that 3rd birth was to be as Ravana. And Rama came in to take him off from that curse. So which means when you're not ethical enough, it is not going to leave you at one single point. It will actually have a story behind it to continue with. So nothing as such to relate, because this topic is not, as ma'am was telling, I have to actually clarify on this. Code of ethics is no more a mandatory CPE that we will have to earn for. Until 2023 calendar year, it was mandatory, but last year in 2024, there was a clarification that it is recommendatory. So since I was the immediate past chairman of Madurai branch and served the managing committee for 6 years, we are quite aware of these things because that's how we plan. And on her second point that the members are less and there are 45 registrations, I know I was on the other side making arrangements. We know how it goes, the number of registration, the food planning for it. Maybe in Chennai you're not having the dinner practice, but in Madurai when it comes to a CPE, you'll have to arrange for the tea, coffee, including the dinner, and the dinner has to be a veg and a non-veg. Otherwise, members prefer like, no, this is not the way you conduct the CPE. So we'll have to arrange for such other things. So I know how it happens. So I'm glad that I'm having these many people here for now. And let's just continue with what the topic demands for. So what do you think is the purpose of bringing in code of ethics? Why can't we call it code of conduct? Shouldn't we call it code of conduct rather than calling it code of ethics? Okay, sir says it's more inclusive. Part.
Defines the actions which the member makes
Hmm.
and how they have to make that action, how they have to do it. But code of ethics is the part of the profession in which they are, dwelling on. It's like an everyday's life, how it has to be made, rather than only speaking about the actions of the member takes. I think that is.
Okay. So code of ethics is more on the principles, and code of conduct is on the rules and regulations as such. We recently got a client which is a non-profit organization, and they have inmates who become volunteers, and then they have been called as a particular community people. So they have something called the code of conduct which they follow, because those people, it's more of a spiritual community, and those people inside that they've been paid some maintenance every month. All these years they were getting those maintenance from foreign contributions, donations, etc. But there was a point wherein they thought we have to be self-generative in the revenue, and they started with revenue generating units. Until GST came, they were like very cool enough in whatever they did, there was no hicks and bucks here. But after 2017, they had to put in strict ways of running their respective units. Say they have around 3,500 residents inside their community, and each one can start their own set of units. This is how the client actually is designed with. So when GST came in, that is where they had to put in so many things, because we make them follow certain things, and they call it as code of conduct, and it was brought in the year 2017 for them. The same way, as far as our profession is concerned, since we are related more with principles than with rules and regulations, and that is where it demands only for the code of ethics and not code of conduct. When you're missing yourself to be beyond that principle, that Lakshman Rekha line, then that is where it demands for your to follow whatever is required, and you must follow. That kind of a line comes in. So just trying to put you out, why not code of conduct instead of code of ethics as such. So these are certain basic things. I may not tell you what is code of ethics, why all these things, because these are basic things. We also have it as part of our syllabus when we had qualified as well. So the code of ethics was brought in the year 2009 initially, and then it got a revision in the year 2019, and there it had 3 volumes. So why did we go in for a revision in 2019? Because the globalization actually demanded something in line with the international ethical standards. So a cut, copy, paste of the international ethical standard boards for accountants. Okay, whatever material they had, that is what is being implemented here. So in India, for CAs here, we have 3 volumes, which is volume 1, which covers the ethical framework as such, and then we have the volume 2, which involves the council guidelines, the CA Act provisions, etc. And we have a volume 3, which is more on the disciplinary part, the other interpretations, the case laws, or the case studies that come in. So these are the 3 volumes that are being brought in. So to whom does this apply? Does it apply to members in practice or members in service? Both, yes. So it applies to both members in practice and members in service as well. So you should be knowing about these, like we'll have to follow the code of ethics, the Chartered Accountants Acts, the council guidelines, and whatever other self-regulatory measures as such. So with this framework, the code of ethics as such, the volume 1 has got 4 parts. So part 1, it covers the fundamental principles and the framework, conceptual framework, and part 2, and that part 1 applies to both members in industry as well as members those in practice. Part 2 is specifically for professional accountants in service. So look at the terminology, it is not chartered accountants, it's called professional accountants. So when it comes to ethics, it relates to principle, and that is where we are called as professional accountants. And part 3 is more for the members into practice, and part 4 has got 2 parts, 4A and 4B. 4A relates to the audit and review engagements, and 4B is for other than review engagements. So this volume is more of a storybook kind of a volume, because it is not like your other regulatory acts wherein you will have to sit and interpret and understand all the provisions. It has got 3 sections, just like your audit standards, wherein you have an introduction and then you have an explanation about that standard and then the applicability. The same way here it has got 3 parts. The first part is your introduction about like what this section in the code speaks about. The second part is on the requirements. So every clause in that section would be like bulleted R1, R2 like that. If it's with R, it means it's a requirement. And then the third part will be the applicability as such. So it was in 2009 we had the Code of Ethics, and that got revised in 2019. So I've just tabulated what are the significant changes in these as well. Let's not take much time on this. Okay. So these are the fundamental principle which the volume 1 and part 1 talks all about. So I may not have to explain what these are. So we have certain set of QAs which we will be actually be practicing, wherein we will know to which principle it relates to. Maybe we can just discuss as such. So where do you think we have to follow the principle of integrity? Documentation, okay. Opinion, the basis of opinion, that how do we arrive, the honesty that we show to the engagement that we are putting in ourselves, the objectivity. Yes, whatever be the purpose to that, professional competence and due care. So we all are, it's like the moment we start to, we have registered for the course, that is where we feel ourselves matured, like we are doing CAs. And even today, like when our article goes, they even been called like people for the audit, they have come, they are the auditors. So confidentiality, of course, that trust. So this is something which I would always be hearing it from MP Vijay Kumar sir. He would always say, just like how doctors trust, so our clients trust us. So on the financial information or anything that is there, they trust us. I had a client visit 2-3 days back. He was a doctor and his actual auditor passed away and he had to move to me. So the only thing that he said was, he is known to me because they have an association of person for their batchmates, and that's how he knew. He said, you're knowledgeable, that's fine, but the second thing that he said is, I can ensure that you will be responsible and you will be the trusted resource for me to share any information. Though I may not know you very personally, but your profession as such, it just gives a tagline that yes, they are trusted people. When you say we are a CA, that's how people treat, and people think we are knowledgeable and we know in and out everything about things. Professional behavior as such. So these are some of the illustrative stories which I taken from the Indian history, because these principles are not new to us. So especially you should be knowing Chanakya, an advisor, Rajaraja Cholan, a great ruler and administrator, and we have this guy Birbal as well. So if you take Birbal, the knowledge and the update that he has, because he has to be a good advisor for his ruler. So that is where he keeps himself professionally competent enough and he takes due care of it. And the same way Rajaraja Cholan. So the way he behaves, so even if his son had done something wrong, he took a decision in giving him a punishment. So that is how he administers. So and then Chanakya. So he has also got the principles which shows us how ethical the rulers were, and that is the kind of a role which we have also been given, and that's the purpose of the code of ethics as well. So I think we'll have to put off the slide. Is this visible? Now? So Chanakya, his principles are Sama, Dana, Beda, Dhanda, Utsaha, Shakti and Niti. Sama, conciliation, the advisory role that we take. Dana, compensation. So we don't do any fee cutting. See, I'm ready to offer this fee than that CA. We don't do all those things. Beda, strategy, that planning that we do, how competent enough we are in seeing things. Dhanda, discipline. Even if we don't have Diwali or Pongal, we ensure that the client's returns are filed on time. Uchaha, the effort and the enthusiasm that we take, the value addition that we given for the client. Shakti, the strength. So whatever be it is, be it any officer, we sit and face them and we fight for the client as such in a professional way. Niti, the ethics or the policy that we follow. So this is something which I consider like it existed years back, and this is some which is being imposed on us as professionals. We'll have to follow this as well. These are certain recent ethical decisions that were taken by the Ethical Standards Board of ICAI. I'll just read it out. Just tell me whether it is permitted or not and why. Investing in listed shares. Permitted. Yes. Because it's more on a personal note. Derivatives or FO trading in a personal capacity. Yes, if it's commodity, we're not allowed to. Can I make investment like planning or suggestions for my client? So my question is like, can we do something like equity research and can we publish a retail report of it? No, that's what, I am doing it with a public interest. If it is specific to the client, it's allowed. So I have more flair in stock markets, and I do a equity research and I keep posting something. There is restriction. So we can do equity research analysis, but we cannot release it as a retail report as such. Frequent or day trading or speculative stock trading.
Can we do it for consultation?
Sorry?
Equity research.
On a consultation we can do it, but that shouldn't be released as a retail report.
But for consideration we can do.
Yeah, for a client as such you can do it.
So it's a mandate.
Hmm.
I mean, not on the client's equity.
Hmm.
I mean, some clients are investor
Hmm.
requesting us to give us a research report of another company
Hmm.
who they may be interested in.
Hmm.
So I have done a research document for it.
Hmm.
So on a consideration, I am just sharing that research document.
That's part of your consultancy, management and consultancy service only. That is allowed. But we shouldn't be releasing it as a report to the public. As if like you can invest in all these shares, etc.
Closed circle meeting.
So it becomes more of a stockbroker's role.
For general free access, we can
Yes.
We closed circle meeting.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, the ideology behind these ethics is that nothing should be termed as if it's business. It has to be as a profession as such. Okay. Trading in own demat for long-term investment. Yes, personal. Operating client's demat or trading account. Acting as sub-broker or stockbroker or portfolio manager. I hope this answers, sir. We cannot be a portfolio manager in that kind. Holding a trading membership of stock exchange. So all of these will given the meaning as if we conduct something as a business. We cannot do. It restricts. Yeah, futures and options we can do. Commodity again becomes like more on a business angle. F&O is like the derivative, it's more on like the actual value, and you try to derive the value and you trade based on that. So that is actually allowed, but not on the commodities as such. Yes, yes. Commodities we cannot do. Unlisted shares. Yeah, that we can do, sir. Frequent day trading or speculative stock trading. Yes. Sir, here it says frequent, but how will they arrive at? No, that's what. That meaning is not, but the board says like it's not allowed. But how will they determine? Because I personally, even I am doing it. So, yes, sir. Yes. It's better we do it in the name of our family members. That's how it would be recommended, sir. That's how we can recommend.
That is the way we are talking. Then operating the demat account of a client. My family member is a client of mine. As simple as that.
No, like if you really want to do the day trading frequency, and it says, sir, it can be, but I know like most of the CAs, including me, we are involved in the trading activities. But the ethical standard board says no for it. And they are giving in a reason permitted if it is occasional, non-substantial and not a systematic business. So, but how are they to prove all this? It's questionable.
Allowing F&O, why not day trade? Because F&O is as good as a day trade.
If the intention was that we can hedge,
You can have an open F&O. You don't need to hedge.
So, we will have to put it with the ethical standards board only on this.
You can have a not lot of us, not lot of people who do F&O hedging. Otherwise, F&O will not be a loss-making system.
Okay. So, the first part, part 1, the conceptual framework, you have the principles and the threats as well. So, why do we have to see the threats here?
so we can make safeguards.
Safeguard, okay. Mitigate. So, could you give me some examples for it?
One example is in company sites that we have like 1 lakh face value shares which we are not supposed to hold it, and if any of our relatives hold it, then they must sell it within 6 months. So that is a safeguard. If any of our relatives are holding it, they must sell it.
Yes. See, in my case, like I'm into practice for the past 5 years, and it puts in with us like many threats. Like there are clients who don't come back to us, or they do the tax audit this year and next year they don't come in for us, and some people come in for only for the loan projections, and they say we need a certification on this, right? So when we are new to practice, we ought to think of these threats, because on one side it's on the revenue that we'll be losing, but on the other side, what if I do this? So that is also there. So are we allowed to sign the provisionals that the banks demand for? The CMA data. But there are CAs maybe they are not aware of it and they are certifying this as well. And there are banks which even insist in taking a UDIN for this as well. Yes. So these threats which are listed in the volume 1 of Code of Ethics, it is just to make us analyze if there is a threat. And we have to see if that because of this threat, should we have to accept the assignment or the audit, or should we have to decline or reject. So this is the purpose of understanding these threats. So there are 5 different threats: self-interest threat, self-review threat, advocacy threat, familiarity threat, intimidation threat. So I will come in reverse. So what would be intimidation threat? Yes, yes, yes. Actually, sir is right. It happens mostly when we get into bank audits. So for certain customers, it will go to the zonal level, every level, and they'll put in pressure that we don't actually disclose things. So that is there. So that's something wherein we wouldn't be able to even analyze, or we wouldn't be able to even decline or reject. What will we do at that point in time? Familiarity threat. Somebody known to us. So what if I worked for say I said I worked for a hospital industry as the head finance, and now I am doing the internal audit for them. So do I have a familiarity threat there? Yes. And now that hospital's turnover is more than 200 crores. So what if I am engaged for the IFC? So I definitely have, right? So they would always think she was working here, she knows the in and out, and why don't we? Advocacy threat. Branding the client, okay. See, it's always the mentality of the client. If some notice comes, my CA didn't tell it. So it's always the mentality of the client. I think most of us would accept it. So how do we actually manage this threat then? These 3. Familiarity, I'm sure like we can analyze and we'll know like whether to decline, where to decline or reject as well. Intimidation, we wouldn't know when it would happen. But what about advocacy threat?
Willing from the client about the risk factor even before signing, so that it doesn't product.
Okay.
The line of the person going beyond the point. Maintain some kind of restriction on yourself.
So he says restriction. This is what I was expecting. So let's be very clear in whatever assignment we take, whether it demands as per a regulatory act or not. Let us put in something like know your client case of set of details. We'll have to get in those things from them. It can be even a salary case client as well. But still, let's ensure we put in all those documentations. We had a very recent thing wherein it is a big size firm. They were into peer review, and when we go for bank audits, maximum of the cases, we actually forget in maintaining the working papers as such. So that is where they realized we rarely maintain all these. How are we to answer them? So these kind of threats, we can actually overcome these when we put in more efforts in our documentation. And we'll have to train our team to achieve all these. Because most of the work is being done by our article clerks or our paid assistants who will not actually know the importance of it. So anything that is discussed with the client, at least let us put it over the mail that these are discussed. So this is the minutes of the meeting or whatever it is, so that we record things and we see that wherever it relates to advocacy, we ensure that the client is also made aware of it. Self-review threat. So this happens as such when we are in September with hectic things in finalizing set of things, we actually lose this. So what I would suggest is we should always have a team in our office who will do the next set of review at least after the filings are being done. All the working papers are being put in place and whatever has to be, let's put in some checklist to achieve all these. Self-interest threat. So this is self-explanatory. So I've just put in some examples here. So when it comes to self-interest threat, so a professional accountant who is having a close relationship with the client. So as sir said, like when my wife itself is my client, so that case. So self-review threat. So, and I've just put in some examples. So we'll just have a small, maybe a game kind. Can you scan this QR please? You will be taken into a portal, a site called Kahoot. Has everybody scanned? So it will ask for a nickname. Should I help?
What is the next step? Name is appearing.
Yeah, it's appearing. It started to appear. I'm just, I'm not hiding this because some people haven't joined. So you've joined? Yeah. So you've joined, sir? So can we start? You can give your own names. So we have 3. Fine, sir. I'm just checking if everybody has actually entered. So you want the QR to be scanned? Should I help you? Or you can just get into that site and you can key in this game pin also. Okay? Just give open browsers. So we have fed in some questions here pertaining to the volume 1. Those questions would be pertaining to what type of threat or what principle does it talk about, etc. So, which of the following is not a fundamental principle under the code? So, each question carries 30 seconds. So, the fastest and the one who answers correctly will be on the scoreboard. Okay. So, we will see how many have got it right. So, M, who is M, sorry? Okay, sir is leading. KJ, Sendil, okay, John, Satya, okay. So, we will move to the next question. Okay. So, Sendil sir is again leading behind. The code is based on which international standard? So, quite a easier question, so I am just skipping it. A threat due to a close relationship with a client is categorized as? Familiarity threat. Which of the following is a safeguard created by the profession? What should a CA do if threats cannot be reduced to an acceptable level? We know what, right? So resign or decline the engagement. CAX is auditing a company where a spouse has recently been appointed as the CFO. Which kind of threat? So, familiarity threat. Mr. M, we have lost him. CAZ is offered an expensive gift by a client during the audit engagement with ethical threat of this situation. Self-interest. Can a CA audit a client while also providing accounting and bookkeeping service to a client? So these are basics. We can be quick also, so I am skipping it. So Sanjay is leading now. CA told by client CFO to reduce audit qualifications or contract will be cancelled. Which kind of threat? Right, it's an intimidation threat. CA has close personal relationship with CEO of audit client. Familiarity threat. CAD has a significant investment in a client's company whose accounts he is auditing. Identify the threat involved. It's a self-interest threat. CA asked by a client to promote their business publicly during a financial seminar. Which kind of threat? So can an audit firm do sponsorships? Can they give in sponsorships? Yes, ICAI is very safer on that. Okay. CAF is auditing a client's books and is also a nominee director on its board. CAG is dependent on a single client for over 80% of his firm's revenue. What threat does this create? In 2022, the Code of Ethics had 3 different changes, and one among that is this. We will be discussing about it later as well. So bigger size firms which falls under peer review, they ought to be careful in these so that they put in the right documentation. CA auditing the financial statements she herself prepared earlier while acting as a consultant. So we have SR 410 which also like shares us the set of standards which we ought to follow when we given the related service of these kind. CA is offered a performance bonus if the audit completed with tight deadline, minimal qualifications. Which kind of threat? CA is pressured by the client's legal team to overlook a pending legal issue in the audit report. Which threat is involved? CAK regularly receives hospitality and travel perks from the client during audits. This may result which type of threat? Yes. CAL is asked to assist in litigation for a client while also being their statutory auditor. So, Sanjay MCOE2. Okay. John Sir, Venkat Raman. Okay. So, I have 20 more questions. Can we try those, or we'll get back to the other set of updates? Sorry? Okay. Because I have another set of 15 questions once we complete the volume 1 requirements. So, maybe we can try out there as well. So, this 2019 Code of Ethics, they had 3 things which they deferred, maybe because of COVID or so. So, that was actually brought in the year 2022, and with effect from 1st October 2022 it was put in place. What were they? So, number 1 was on the no clerk. So, responding to the non-compliances with respect to the laws and regulations as such. So, do we not do we don't respond to the these kind of non-compliances generally?
It affects our financial statements, our attention goes on.
Yes. So, what kind of things would actually affect, and what actually is being said here as like it has to be taken care like as a ethical issue? They say when you have any non-compliances, you will have to disclose it with those charged with governance and the regulatory body, whichever client that relates to. So, what is the requirement? We actually given our opinion when it comes to CARO, we given all the set of disclosures and the requirements. So, why does Code of Ethics demand something here as well? See, the revised Code of Ethics, it concentrates more on things involving public interest. So, when it comes to public interest, what do we try to understand here? We are more answerable to the public, right? We might think it's a proprietorship concern. Say they have a GST fraud related to that, but it still affects the public. And we have certain principles wherein it says you need to give in your professional competence, due care, the behavior, etc. Right? So, that is where the Code of Ethics had to bring in this point, wherein when there are certain non-compliances pertaining to the laws and regulations, be it say bonus provisions or the gratuity provision is being missed, anything which might affect the financial statement, we will have to as such given a disclosure considering this as such to the regulatory body or to those charged with governance, depending upon the degree of the non-compliance. And number 2 is your fees relative size. You should be familiar with this. Could you let me know like what actually this revision is about? Okay. So the Code of Ethics volume 1 says, if your fee in your firm, proprietorship or the partnership, if it is less than 20 lakhs in a year, you are a small firm. If it is more than 20 lakhs, they consider you are not a small firm. So if your income is more than 20 lakhs, then the fees that you receive from a client is 20% it holds, that is the client concentration level, it holds 20% or more than that, then we will have to give a disclosure with ICAI. Where does this help? When they are coming in for a peer review, they will have to see whether there is any self-interest threat in these kind of cases, or a review threat as well. Say for example, if my income is 25 lakhs, right? So 20% of it is 5 lakhs. Say I get a fee of 6 lakhs from a particular client, right? So you will have to give a disclosure to ICAI that I have a client and I'm being paid this much fees. So is there any limit for the small firms, less than 20 lakhs case? For them they say it is 40% of income. So the same example of 25 lakhs. See earlier this 20 lakhs was 5 lakhs. When they brought in 2022 it was only 5 lakhs. But now they have increased as 20 lakhs. So when I am like having an income lesser than 20 lakhs, the limit becomes 40%. If it is from a single client, then I'll have to disclose. So is it applicable for audit clients or non-audit clients? What do you think the logic would be? Yes, basically the audit clients. And for now, they are not concerned about the non-audit clients. So when you talk about the non-compliances, say we have delayed GST filings, should we have to report it to those charged with governance or the regulatory body? Okay. So the International Ethical Standard Boards for Accountants, that is where what is being extracted here as well, copy paste. So they say when there is any fraud, corruption, bribery, money laundering, securities market and trading, any issues relating to it. So when there is any non-compliance which would affect the financial statements, say a gratuity act, the provision is not being made, or you don't actually create a provision for the bonus, or there is some FEMA non-compliance, all these things have to be responded to the regulatory body or those charged with governance as per the Code of Ethics. If we don't do this, it would lead to misconduct as well. Communicate to the relevant regulatory body or those charged with governance as applicable. So it also covers anything which relates to public health and safety, environmental protection as well, pollution control. See, if you are dealing with Companies Act, we would have got requirements from the client for a certification for the pollution control licenses. And there the requirements are different and nothing would actually relate it with the financials. But still the clients insist us in giving a certification. These are things which we face as well. And this is about the fees relative size, the change that they had brought in from October 2022, a revision of it. So we can consider those having fee more than 20 lakhs as big firms, and for audit clients it is 20% of the fees or 40% as applicable, be it small or big. For non-audit clients, there is no percentage that's been fixed. Sorry? Yeah. Yes. And they want to see this for 2 consecutive years. Say bank audit, we are in the cooling period. So they want us to see it for 2 consecutive years. Sorry? Disclose, we have to disclose it with ICAI. Yes, yes. So where would these be useful as such when your firm gets into a peer review, the QRBs, it is a requirement as per SQC 1 as well, wherein the documentation has to be in compliant with all the code of ethics requirements as well. As far as the tax services are concerned, when it comes to filing of the returns, there is nothing as such which the code of ethics talks about. But when it comes to the advisory, the planning, maybe even for the provision for taxation, the calculations. So what we recommend is, when you are the engaging partner, maybe if it's a partnership firm, when you are the engaging partner, you may not have to verify the calculations pertaining to the provision for taxation. Rather, you put in one other partner who actually verifies and vets that the calculations are right. You should have some other person rather than the engaging partner who is doing it. This is what has been recommended. So tax advisory planning, say for provision for tax or other set of advocacies, please don't put yourself when you are the statutory auditor. So let it go through one other partner or your tax team which you might have in your firm as such. The assistance during scrutinies and all the tax litigation, when it is for an appeal, you are the statutory auditor, you are the engaging partner as such, you can give it to another partner, and this also has to be rotated, like for every 5 years for these kind of litigation set of things. And then you have the aggressive tax schemes, especially when you do not know what would actually happen, when there is a contingency on what could be the result out of it. It has been recommended that we don't actually get involved in these kind of engagements. So these are the changes pertaining to the tax services to the clients, and this is a revision with effect from 1st October 2022. So what if I am a proprietary firm? I would not have a partner who will take care of that role. So how do we manage? Engage another CA. That would be the only option as such, because even if it's going to be our employee, again it will be a self-interest kind. And this is applicable for now for the listed entities which has a net worth of more than 250 crores. So I have put in all the recent decisions which we had in the previous slides. I have just continued it here. So we will just have another set of questions. I will finish these balance questions and we will jump to that. Which principle requires a CA to be honest and truthful? Threats to objectivity due to previous judgments are called. Safeguards in the work environment include all except. So it's not on emphasizing the ethics or internal policies, it's more on the instructions from the client. Nuclear refers to okay, you can give in the game pin, sir. You can type in 730461, that's the game pin. You can get into this site play.kahoot.it. Okay. We are actually, what about the others? Yeah. Try logging in again, sir. Just log out and log in again. Which principle involves avoiding actions that discredit the profession? It's a professional behavior that we'll have to. What type of threat arises when a CA stands to benefit financially from a client? Self-interest threat. Which principle requires a CA to maintain professional knowledge and skill? Gifts and hospitality may create Which chapter of the code deals with professional accountants in public practice? If a CA supports a client's position to the point of bias, it is advocacy. Which of the following is not considered a safeguard? So you're getting the questions now? Ignoring threats. What is expected when a CA encounters an ethical conflict? Document and resolve it. Independence is especially important in Audit and assurance service. Accepting contingent fees may threaten independence. Sanjay still leads. Sanjay M. Close business relationships with a client threaten it will threaten our independence. Which principle is at risk when a CA is pressured by a client? So you should be knowing the answers. A professional accountant must resign from an assignment if the client is unprofitable, there is irreconcilable ethical conflict, the peer review is delayed, there is client pressure. Using confidential client data for personal gain violates confidentiality. Which principle deals with not allowing bias or undue influence? So one final question in this first lot. What threat arises if a CA audits an entity where she was internal auditor 6 months ago? So we have CA Venkatraman, CA Yam, sir, your good name, sir? Mike. And CA Sanjay. So can we give them a big round of applause, please? So we are starting with the next set of questions here. So you can scan the QR. So everybody is able to log in. So we have only 9 participants. So do we start? Eleven. Okay. CAX, after due communication and consent from the previous auditor, accepts a company audit assignment. So these questions are all more on the ask whether it's a professional misconduct or not. So if you feel it's a professional misconduct, you have to click on yes, else no. So all these questions are just to ask whether it is professional misconduct or not. CAY charges fees on a hourly basis for accounting consultancy to a startup. So is it professional misconduct? CAZ accepts an audit while the previous auditor's fees are disputed and under arbitration. So does it lead to professional misconduct? So before we get the previous auditor's consent, can we given our acceptance for the engagement like statutory audit? Okay, so is it required that I will have to wait for the previous auditor to reply back for the communication that is sent?
No, if we have sent communication in the right form, then it's okay.
Okay, so what is the right form? So is mail enough? So the mail has to be acknowledged that they have received the mail, at least the receipt of the mail. So it's like if you give them like reply us back within a week or 15 days, we can wait till then, that's it, a minimal time, yes.
No, but what happens in case of bank audits where you are required to reply within 3 hours?
Sir, you have other challenges also. We wouldn't know whether that is the official mail ID also. So if we know this is the official mail ID, the last communicable mail ID, it's enough you send in a mail. That's it. So phone call, the code of ethics doesn't recommend for that. So it actually says you have to send in a registered post, a letter with acknowledgement due. But that wouldn't work. So after COVID, they've just added that you can send in a mail. You have to ensure that the mail has been received in their inbox. CAA issues a clean audit opinion without obtaining sufficient audit evidence. So does this lead to professional misconduct? CAB signs an audit report prepared by a partner after appropriate review. CAC advertises his CA practice through pamphlet highlighting permitted ICAI recognitions. So it is professional misconduct. CAD receives gift worth 400 from a client during Diwali season. CAE accepts cash fees of 1 lakh from a client without issuing a receipt. So why do you think this would lead to professional misconduct? Yes, more like a gift like that. CAG provides tax return filing service to a non-audit client. CAH allows his office assistant to write draft audit reports which he later signs after review. But practical cases, we have our article clerks accessing all the DSCs of us and our clients as well. So there are some practical difficulties as well. So one of my friend who is a CA, he has recently developed an application wherein it will let us know like where and all the DSCs has been used. So he's still like it's still under release like WIP, and he's working on it so that at least we get to know like where and all the DSCs are being used at least. So this is one practical challenge which we would actually have. Most of the times the DSCs of the clients sits like it is in our office and it's accessed by our article clerks more than us. CAF fails to mention significant litigation against the client in his audit report, although he was aware. So it is professional misconduct. So we have some new participants leading as well. CAI shares 50% of his fees with a lawyer who referred a client to him. So we can't share fees, is it? So when there is a referral, we can share the fees with a CA but not with anybody else. Okay, so there is a proprietary firm. The CA is no more. Okay, so the widow of that or the spouse of the CA, can she take a share of the fees if that firm is being run by any other CA then? Yes. What if it's a partnership firm? The first question was pertaining to a proprietorship firm, but the second is for a partnership firm. Say there are 3 partners, one partner passes away. Can their spouse share the fee? The firm would still earn, right? So can they share the fee? Yes, they can share the fees to the spouse. But when it comes to a proprietary concern, the CA is no more, right? So the firm doesn't exist. So when you have a CA who is going to run the proprietary firm as such, even then the fees cannot be shared. So whatever was due, maybe they can collect it and she can take it, or the goodwill of the firm has to be transferred to another CA. CAJ conducts a tax audit and an internal audit for the same client with disclosure and approval. So does this lead to professional misconduct? So if in Chennai, say we have 2 partners, can we have 2 offices? Yes. So the code of ethics says within the city there is a kilometer distance which needs to be adhered to. It is 50 kilometers. Say you have a partner here in Chennai and say you have a partner in Bangalore. So we can have 2 offices, one will be your HO, another will be your branch. Say the partner in Bangalore, he wants to have an office at his residence as well. Is that permitted? He already has an office, but still for the convenience of the clients, he wants to have another office. Anyways, the office in Bangalore is going to be branch, but still can he have 2 offices? He cannot. We can have 2, but it should be within the distance of the 50 kilometers. It doesn't mind like it's your branch office or a head office. You can have 2, but it should be within the limit of 50 kilometers. CAK advertises her CA firm on LinkedIn, listing only ICAI compliant qualifications and services. CAL enters into a partnership with another CA who is suspended from practice for 3 months. COE2. KJ, who's KJ, sorry. Okay, congratulations to KJ, Sanjay and COE2. So definitely code of ethics is a vast topic, and the sections that are involved in every volume, you will have to see whether you are in practice or service. See that we are 24/7, as I had told you, we are CAs 24/7, and we ought to be ethical enough in following the principles that has been listed as such. So when we heard the motto song, it says like Yeshu Shukte Shujakriti. So what does it mean? Awaken. Yes, yes, yes. So we have to be we have to be awakened when the public are asleep or when the world is asleep. So that is where is the requirement of the ethical principles that we ought to follow as well. So any question answers at this stage? Beyond 50, you are asking. No, you can have within 50. Yeah, the code of ethics says you can have within 50 kilometers. Like 2 offices, you can have it within 50 kilometers. So there are restrictions, like if it's in your residence, you shouldn't put in the name of the firm. You can put in the board for your name as a CA, but not the name of the firm as such. those lighter restrictions are there. So that's the multidisciplinary firm concept for the purpose of networking. A CA can as well practice as a lawyer, but provided he shouldn't be taking up both the roles, and the bar council has to permit for it. Even on a practice we can. Yes. And with the GST coming in, many of the CAs are actually venturing out in the bar councils and the BL courses as well. Mm.
Why is it? Because when I've been doing it, of course, all my clients are small clients. They don't face the full 50% whatever you're talking about. What are the reasons for that? The real reasons for that?
So I didn't say like CAs in practice shouldn't be doing litigation. It just says when you have entities which are listed and which has a net worth of more than 250 crores, you should have two independent people handling the engagement service or the assurance service, another person taking care of these litigation issues. It shouldn't be the same person. It affects the independence issues. So if there are anything, we are incumbent to report on the no-CLAR issues as well. Okay, so as far as code of ethics is concerned, it cannot be a 3-hour session with covering all the theoretical set of things. So we have just discussed the basic things, and we have had the Q&As in a game format, so that to understand ourselves where we are and what we are up to in knowing what the code of ethics is all about. So we have the CA GPT. So how many of you here have used it? Okay, only one. Okay, so the CA GPT, it just requires your membership number, and there will be a OTP which will be generated to your mobile number, and you can use it. There are some restrictions, like they have a upgraded option as well, wherein it requires like 2000 as a subscription as such. It actually is very much useful. It does not require you to take a first hand information on what certain things are. Like if it's going to be on the code of ethics, you have the chat GPT wherein you can ask the CA GPT, it will give you an answer. You can just counter check it with the sections or the code as such. So please do make use of these things, because when it is ethical part, we should ensure ourselves that whatever is there as per the code is being actually followed, and do we take any steps to actually put in places the systems in our offices as well. Sir, you haven't seen, sir? Just like Chat GPT, our DAB committee, thank you, sir. They had brought in the CA GPT. So you will have to give in the membership login. So whatever be the various committees, so you just, thank you sir, thank you sir. Say for example, if it is going to be the direct tax, you can post in a question here. So any questions here for direct tax?
But it doesn't give you the case laws.
No. Unlike the taxman, no. That whatever our ICAI could support through the relevant committee and boards, it will help us. The guidance notes and the latest revision of any regulation, it will give us. Unlike like what taxman provides. Sir, but we are not very sure like, yes. And when it comes to AI, like we may not have to depend entirely on it. I think you would have had the exposures here as well, because even the International Ethical Standard Board in 2023 they brought in a work group which wanted to analyze things, because we generally go with technology, relying more on the technology for the audits these days. So they worked and they had brought in December 2024 various ethical standards when you are relying on the technology as well. So our ICAI has not brought in that into our code of ethics yet, but once that is being brought in, maybe we should have all these ethical issues when we use AI as well, when we rely on technology. Yes sir, just let me know the question. Okay. So this talks about only financial year 24-25. If you want the latest, you have to actually upgrade to by subscribing it. And you have certain restrictions also, the number of usages. Just like your chat GPT, it's like they have tied up with Microsoft and they've had this CA GPT as well here. Sorry, OpenAI as such. So this is what it says. Sir, for all the CAs it is free. If you want to have the latest updates for the respective committees, yes sir, it won't give. Even if you are going to use chat GPT, if you want to have updated things, you will have to subscribe for it. It gives sir, but we have to ensure whether, yes. Sir, there are restrictions sir, you can use it only for 5 or 6 times in a day, maybe you have to switch over different Gmail IDs, mail IDs, it will work. Sir, advisory, just advisory.
Real issues will not be solved. See, like,
you cannot expect an answer like how we would actually do our advisory role.
Income tax, for example, this tax under 150 BAB, low rate of tax for companies. So the income tax says some conditions like it has to be registered before 31st March and it has to be revision and all the things. Whether it is fully manufacturing items only, or I can do some trading item also.
No, if you are expecting an answer, it will give its own answer, sir. How we prompt is how the AI will give in an answer for that, for us. Because when I actually tried using this for the PPT today, as far as the fees relative size is concerned, the data that it gave was only 15%, not the latest update. It said only the previous update of 5 lakhs, not the latest update of 20 lakhs. So just wanted to check if this really works, so that for the ethical standards we can clear ourselves like, yes, this is what we ought to follow. But still there are issues, maybe they got to update.
Prompt what you give also matters.
Yes sir, yes.
They say the number of words is 21. Name a number which you understand.
So nothing as such, it's a machine and we have to communicate it. Say the first question you ask, next question we say, my friend, why don't you give in a clear answer? So that's how you have to interact with it. Yes, yes, it's a machine and the way you communicate is the way, garbage in and garbage out, so that's how you can expect things. Okay, so thank you so much for this session. This is my maiden session here in SIRC. My core subject would be corporate law, IFC and GST as such. But Revati ma'am, when she approached for a session and she asked me on code of ethics, I said yes, fine, because I would have hardly updated myself. Rather than hearing in the CPE sessions, we would have hardly had time to read and deliver what actually it is, because it was like way back in 2008 when I qualified my final, wherein we had to study all those, and here and there whatever updates are there, that is where we had to take the updates. But now it has made me an attempt to take an update myself, so that I could deliver it to the peer CAs as well. Thank you so much again to all the members to have patiently been here, to have participated in the session as well. Thank you.